From Lewis winning a race in impossible conditions to making the most surprising move that no one could believe, these are the times Hamilton surprised everyone. Especially when the racing conditions were at their worst. Because at the Turkish Grand Prix, the fight was closer than ever between two Mercedes drivers. The whole season, Bottas was in peak form. And not just that, due to horrible conditions in Turkey, every driver was struggling.
And that's Alex Albon, who has spun around. Charles Leclerc locks up on Sergio Perez.
The track was so slippery that even Max Verstappen could barely hang on.
Keeps ahead by a metre through turn 11. And Verstappen goes wide and spins as well.
But even with such horrible conditions and tough competition, Hamilton still refused to slow down.
Hamilton is going to make a move into turn 12. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead.
Starting from 6th, Hamilton won the race, showing a masterclass in tyre management and wet weather driving.
In 2020, we're off the track. Lewis Hamilton has found his voice, and on it, once again, he's found his groove.
Even Sebastian Vettel said, if we're honest, it wasn't his race to win, and he still won it. But guys, that 30 seconds wasn't the only special thing. Turns out, this race was even more important for Hamilton, and it was because…
And now he finds himself alongside Michael Schumacher. The World Championship record is equalled. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
When we were young, and when I was young, we were watching the Grand Prix, and this is way, way beyond our dreams.
Who knows? Maybe Lance Stroll can learn something from this.
Lance Stroll finds himself off the road on the formation lap.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
This win was a statement to the entire world, just like the bold move he made back in 2007. In 2007, just his rookie year in Formula One, Hamilton made headlines for something completely different from racing.
Lewis Hamilton has announced his intention to move to Switzerland just a day after his hometown, so they will name a street after the driver.
His announcement of moving to Switzerland, and the reason behind it wasn't the beautiful scenery. It was allegedly to avoid paying millions in UK taxes. The situation got so bad that even politicians started commenting on it. It was truly controversial. Almost every newspaper covered it. Except one thing. Lewis didn't care. Hamilton stood by his decision, saying it was a personal choice for privacy and financial planning. And regardless of what people thought, he made the move anyway. It was one of the only few times Lewis made a decision that went against public opinion. And apart from that, he always listened to public opinion, right? Later, you'll see the most surprising move Lewis Hamilton made. But first, you've got to see what he did back in 2012. I feel this is one of the most underrated decisions in the history of F1, because when everything was going fine, Lewis made an announcement.
Lewis Hamilton is set to leave McLaren after signing a 3-year deal reported to be worth £15 million.
By joining a team that was nowhere near championship contention, Lewis surprised the entire Formula One world.
Everyone said it was the worst thing that could do. The worst decision.
Everyone thought it was career suicide. Back then, McLaren was one of the top teams, while Mercedes had only won one race since returning to the sport. But after all that, I guess you already know who was right in the end.
It's a first win for Mercedes. Hamilton wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion.
Lewis saw something nobody else did. 6 Drivers' Championships and 8 Constructors' titles later, it's now considered the greatest career move in F1 history.
Get in there, Lewis.
Of course, not including his move to Ferrari, as clearly that move is much better. Yup, we don't talk about that. But look, now that you've reached the top 3 surprising incidents, buckle up, because as you know, things are gonna go much more insane. And nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, beats what happened in Abu Dhabi 2016. This is one of the most shocking moves in F1 history. It was 2016, the final race of the season. And as you might know, tensions were running a bit too high.
In towards turn 2, his teammates got the inside line, they've touched again. And it's Nico Rosberg, and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
At that point, Lewis was trailing Nico Rosberg by 12 points, and with only one race left, Rosberg just needed to finish on the podium to secure the championship. And it all came down to this last race. Lewis got pole position, but Rosberg was right behind him in P2.
It's lights out, and away we go. Both Rosberg and Hamilton get away.
Lewis was leading, and controlling the race beautifully. But obviously that wouldn't be enough. He needed Rosberg to finish lower than P3. But then came a surprising radio message from the Mercedes pit wall.
Lewis, this is Paddy. We need you to pick up the pace to win this race. That's the instruction.
Since the team got involved, everyone expected Lewis to comply and help his teammate. But who knew that Lewis had other ideas? He deliberately slowed down to back Rosberg into the cars behind him, hoping they would overtake him.
On board with Sebastian Vettel. Here we go. You can see it coming. Which way is he going to go? Under braking, tries to go round the outside, Rosberg.
The team was furious. They kept ordering him to speed up. But Hamilton surprised everyone and kept ignoring them.
Right now, I'm losing the World Championship, so I'm not really bothered if I win or lose this race.
Rosberg did manage to win, but the battle did go till the last lap, thanks to Hamilton. But at the same time, this shows how ruthless you have to be to become a champion. Even though Hamilton was already a multiple world champion at the time, he still didn't let go easy. I guess this shows why Verstappen's also a champ. But guys, even though those tactics were bold, at least it was still within the rules. Unlike what happened in Australia, this is one of the most controversial moments in Formula One. Because after a strong 2008 season where he became world champion, Lewis Hamilton found himself in a massive controversy. During the race, an incident occurred involving Toyota's Jarno Trulli. Under safety car conditions, Jarno Trulli passed Lewis Hamilton, which is generally not allowed. As a result, Trulli received a 25-second penalty, which elevated Hamilton to third place in the final standings. Now initially, everything was fine. Hamilton was awarded third place, and everybody went to the next race. But then, things got messy. Stewards found out that something was fishy.
May I ask you, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel comfortable with yourself, what you've done?
No, I mean, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm sitting here in front of you. I mean, this is not an easy thing for anyone to do, to put their hand up and step back and realize they're in the wrong.
Hamilton and McLaren were accused of providing misleading information to the stewards about the incident.
Why did Lewis decide not to tell the whole truth to the stewards? He's come out today, spoken to the media, he looked very downcast, quite emotional, and said he was misled by his team manager.
Yes, the team manager's taken the can for it. I think sitting in the steward's office, they saw an opportunity to gain third place. They finished fourth. It's one World Championship point and another trophy.
They claimed Trulli had overtaken Hamilton illegally. But radio transmissions revealed the team had actually told Lewis to let Trulli pass.
Lewis, you need to allow the Toyota through. Allow the Toyota through now.
Okay.
This incident got known as Liegate, one of the biggest scandals in modern F1. Once FIA found out that Lewis lied, Hamilton was disqualified from that race, and McLaren faced a suspended ban.
We were requested by the stewards, and whilst waiting for the stewards, I was instructed and misled by my team manager to withhold information, and that's what I did. And sincerely apologise to the stewards for wasting their time and for making them look silly.
It was so bad that Lewis even questioned his future in Formula One.
I'm sure the FIA will act accordingly and in the right way. I mean, I don't know what else is going to happen in the future, but I think for me now, I've just got to try and focus on the race and try to move forward from this and learn from it and grow.
For the first time, we saw a vulnerable side to the usually composed champion. But now, out of all things shown earlier, here's the most surprising moment you'll ever see. It was 2021, when, as you know, the championship battle between Hamilton and Verstappen incredibly close.
Max Verstappen against Lewis Hamilton, they both got away quite evenly. It is Hamilton and Verstappen and Hamilton wheel to wheel going into the turbo chicane. Hamilton is forced wide and he's lost a little bit of bodywork as well.
Every point mattered.
He's going to go for the move here. Lewis Hamilton trying to get into the lead of the race. They go wheel to wheel into the first corner.
No matter what it takes.
Both are giving it absolutely everything. I get the feeling it's going to happen again. Oh, they've touched and they've collided. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton.
So, when they arrived at the Spanish GP, tensions were already high. Race day came, and Verstappen got a better start.
Max Verstappen on the inside of the Ferrari Esteban Ocon as Verstappen goes into turn one and goes past the Mercedes.
After taking the lead from Hamilton, Max was controlling the race beautifully, and Mercedes' chances of winning were decreasing with every lap.
Max Verstappen is off and running, and Lewis Hamilton trying to get to a spot where the Ferrari behind him can't get the benefit of a tow.
But then, Mercedes strategist James Wiles came in the picture.
James, Leon Tactics?
Yes, they are.
There is a plan called two-stop.
Yeah, it's heavily reliant on Verstappen falling off the curve, though.
A surprising two-stop strategy while Verstappen stayed out.
I'm getting the view that the two-stop would be the best strategy.
This bold move was so risky that even Toto Wolff had to get involved.
James, can you take me through the two-stop?
Yeah, so if we stop Lewis on the planner, he's forecast to catch up on the last lap of the race. And he has to catch up because Verstappen has to push his tyres to effectively maintain that gap.
But since Verstappen was super quick, they knew this is it.
Tactics, if we call that, it needs to be really last minute.
And so, once everybody realized that this strategy was the only way to win, Mercedes and Hamilton did the impossible.
Oh, he's pitting.
So,
wow.
Mercedes committing then to the two-stop strategy and pitting right now.
This move meant Hamilton had to make up a 22-second gap with just 18 laps to go.
How far have I got to catch up?
Currently 22 seconds. We've done it before.
That's a massive gap.
22-second gap. It seemed almost impossible, as not only was it tight, but the only chance to overtake would be in the last lap.
At this rate, you would catch us on the last lap.
Lewis had to push to the limit while managing his tyres perfectly, which is not so easy, right? Wrong, because this is Lewis Hamilton we're talking about. One by one, he overtook the cars ahead, charging towards Verstappen like a rocket.
Lewis back in P2. Got Verstappen 11.5 ahead, 14 laps remaining.
And then, about 10 laps later, he caught Verstappen. And finally, that moment came.
Is he going to do it again here in Spain 7 days later, getting showered in rubber from the rear of that Red Bull? Hamilton goes round the outside at turn 1 and the charge is complete.
A super tight strategy, which only had a slight chance of winning. Hamilton still made it look easy. Even though the last lap overtake was the estimation, Hamilton already overtook him a couple laps before. That's how good he was.
Yeah, Lewis, perfect combination, great strategy and bold and great driving. Congratulations.
Congrats, Toto. That's you.
From trailing by 22 seconds to winning the race. This is why Lewis is a 7-time champ. But you know what else was surprising? When Hamilton brutally humiliated his opponents. Like the time when he won a race by more than a minute. Or when he left a rival so embarrassed it practically ended his career. So to know more about this, just click this video right here.